Diablo 3 Review Act 3. At the start of Act 3, Azmodan takes time out of his invading the Sanctuary plan to tell Leia where he's going to attack humanity from, the remains of Mount Arreat. Though it's never explained why Azmodan told the people who could stop him where he was going to attack, I suspect that the developers couldn't think up a good way for the player to learn where Azmodan is, so they just had him tell the player his plan. In Diablo 3, Mount Arreat was where Act 5 took place, where the player tried to prevent Baal from getting to the World Stone. After the World Stone was destroyed, large parts of Arreat were blown to pieces, turning the area where Azmodan is invading into a small island. Unlike Act 2, you're actually given reasons why Arreat, Leia and Tyrael can't help you. Leia has to use her powers to contain the Demon Lord, while Arreat is on standby to take over when Leia needs a rest. And Tyrael is busy commanding the soldiers of Bastion's Keep in the battle against Azmodan's army. While the story makes sense for Arreat and Leia, Tyrael's role has the following problem. 1. What happened to the previous commander of Bastion's Keep? It's never explained what happened between Azmodan's initial attack and the current situation. Also, which country does Bastion's Keep belong to and why aren't they sending any reinforcements? Problem 2. Why is Tyrael commanding Bastion's Keep? It seems odd that the officers of Bastion's Keep would hand over control of the entire keep to someone they've never met who claims to be an angel, especially since Tyrael has no experience of commanding human armies. Even overlooking these problems, the Act still has many problems regarding military tactics. Part 1. The Walls. In order to raise morale, Tyrael orders you to light the signal fires. Tyrael, that's not what signal fires are for. You light signal fires to warn cities and castles that an enemy army is approaching, not to tell soldiers on a wall that they still need to fight the demon army that's attacking them. Also, starting huge fires on the walls of a castle not only reduces the number of men you can have on the walls, but greatly increases the risk of burning the castle down. Once the signal fires are lit, you can head back to camp and talk to the former mayor of New Tristram, who has travelled to a military keep in the middle of nowhere for no reason. He tells you that the larder smells funny. You can also talk to a sergeant who tells you that you have to raise the catapults to repel the demons. Given that catapults are very heavy, and the rocks they fire are also heavy, this makes them extremely difficult to use when they're on a castle wall. They'd also be completely useless against a demon invasion, since catapults are long-range weapons designed to break down walls rather than attack a large number of enemies at close range. A squad of archers or crossbowmen would be much more effective. Thus, the first two quests have demonstrated that the developers have no idea what an army would do in a siege. The developers also don't know how castle walls are meant to work either, as demons are shown on both sides of the walls. In a real siege, the purpose of the castle walls is to protect the keep and all the people in it from enemy attacks by ensuring that the enemy remains outside the walls. Once the enemy gets inside the walls, they can attack the more vulnerable parts of the castle or open the gate to let the main army in. So unless the outer wall was meant to have fallen as soon as the player steps outside, there shouldn't have been any demons on the inner parts of the walls. Part 2. The Keep. Once you're done with the walls, you return to Tyrael, and Azmodan tells you that he's managed to breach the walls and has sent his demon army into the keep. While telling you his plan seems to be a major error on Azmodan's part, given that the demons have already made it into the inner keep, even if Azmodan hadn't told the player about his plan, they would have realised it 5 seconds after the demons invade the keep. Tyrael's response to this is ordering you to kill all the demons with no support while he stands around doing nothing, even when the demons break into the room he's standing in. It seems the developers still don't have any idea what Tyrael should be doing. You then enter the lower levels of the keep, which are mainly full of small rooms, so it actually looks like somewhere underground, rather than the cathedral from Act 1, which was full of raised platforms and giant holes. After going down to level 2, you find the breach, which you don't seal in any way, even though it provides a very easy way for Azmodan to continue sending large numbers of demons into Bastion's Keep. What was the point of going to the breach if you're not going to stop the demons coming through it? So you ignore the breach and go to the larder, where you meet Gom. For those who were paying attention earlier, it seems Gom has been in the larder for some time. After beating Gom, you return to Tyrael and receive no information regarding what effect your actions had. It's a pity the developers were too lazy to explain why demons don't keep charging into the keep through the giant breach in the walls, or what effect Gom had on the amount of food that's available to the soldiers. Part 3. The battlefields. So after possibly securing the keep, you're allowed to go onto the battlefields to destroy Azmodan's siege weapon. The first thing you notice on your journey out is that the entrance to the keep is guarded by several catapults. Given how useless catapults are at attacking nearby enemies, the nearby demons would be able to overrun this position without any problem. Once on the battlefield, you have to find a trebuchet and 3 ballistas that are attacking the castle walls. Even though ballistas are anti-personnel weapons and are less effective at breaking stone walls compared to catapults. So, due to the developers' failure to research siege weapons, we have catapults that are used to repel demons from a castle wall, ballistas used to break castle walls, and a trebuchet being used correctly, probably by accident. You'd think in an act about military battles they would have bothered to do basic research. I can't help but feel how lame Azmodan's army is compared to Baal's. Baal had dozens of catapults and dug trenches and built spike pits to protect them. By contrast, Azmodan has fewer siege weapons which aren't protected by anything. Another annoying thing is this group of soldiers with their backs to a huge demon army. If this is meant to be a defensive position, then why do they have no defences against the demon army on the battlefield? They should be protected by a palisade, such as the one used during the triage event, rather than nothing. Aside from their lack of defence, why are they even in the middle of the demon army? It can't be to stop the demons advancing, because there aren't enough of them to stop a charge by the demons, and destroying the bridge with catapults would be much more effective. Once you've destroyed the siege weapons, Tyrael appears and joins you, meaning that for the first time in the game he's actually useful, and that you're going to be fighting a mini-boss soon. So you fight your way through Raki's Crossing, and Tyrael somehow knows about the Gate of Wrath at the end of it, and once you break this gate, the mini-boss appears. A siege breaker. You'd think that you'd fight a siege breaker at the breach rather than somewhere that isn't being sieged, and that the gate would be defended by a demon loyal to Azmodan rather than a random large demon. Once the siege breaker is dead, Adria somehow knows exactly where you are and is able to teleport to your exact location. She then warns you about the Sin Hearts, which help Azmodan in a way that's never explained because the developers were too lazy to come up with an explanation. So you go to stop Azmodan while Tyrael returns to Bastion's Keep to resume standing around doing nothing. Part 4. Inside Arreat. Inside the crater that used to be Mount Arreat, you go into some caves, down a weird tower, fight Sadea, and destroy a Sin Heart which has no noticeable effect on anything. You then go into some caves, down a weird tower, fight Sadea, and destroy a Sin Heart which has no noticeable effect on anything. So basically you do the same thing twice because the developers ran out of ideas. When fighting Sadea the second time, expect to be killed by her spiders a lot, because she summons a horde of spiders right underneath you, which is instant death for non-melee characters, then has them all attack you at once, which overwhelms non-melee characters. Once Sadea is dead, you can go fight Azmodan. He's the easiest boss to beat in Diablo 3 because he's slow, can't summon a large number of minions, and the floor isn't constantly on fire. Once Azmodan is dead, Leia seals his soul in the Black Soul Stone, and Adria prepares to permanently kill the 7 Demon Lords. Part 5. The Aftermath. Once in the keep, you go see how Adria's ritual to destroy the Demon Lords is going. So you head to the Watchtower. No wait, you talk to the Lieutenant. Then go to the Watchtower. No wait, you go to the Armory, then the Watchtower. Once you've done these 3 things in the correct order, you learn that Adria is working with Leoric's Reticon's son, Aiden, who is also Diablo, and that everything she's been doing is part of Diablo's plan to become the primeval. This raises several problems. 1. Why did Diablo's plan involve all 7 Demon Lords, including himself, being killed and trapped in the Black Soul Stone? Wouldn't it have been better to have a plan that didn't involve himself being killed and trapped in a Soul Stone? 2. What would have happened if one of the Demon Lords wasn't killed? Azmodan mentions being able to absorb the Black Soul Stone, so Diablo's plan could have resulted in any of the Demon Lords becoming the new primeval if they obtained the Black Soul Stone and trapped the other Demon Lords in it. 3. What would happen if the Black Soul Stone couldn't contain all 7 Demon Lords? Diablo's whole plan hinges on the Black Soul Stone, but it wasn't even finished until shortly after Khul came back to life, and Leia needed to constantly use her power to contain 6 of the Demon Lords within it. 4. Why did Diablo trust Adria to carry out the entire plan after he was dead? As Adria left Tristram shortly before Diablo destroyed it, this means that they only spent a few days together. So Diablo had no way to determine whether Adria would be loyal to him or would change her allegiance to another demon lord after his death. Also, given that Adria was mortal, why did Diablo trust someone who might die before his plan could be completed? And the most important question of all, why didn't Tyrael realise that putting all 7 demon lords in the Black Soulstone, then shattering it, wouldn't kill them permanently and was a very bad idea? Given how long he's fought against the demon lords and that he taught humanity how to use the soul stones, he should have realised that trapping demons in a soul stone, then breaking this soul stone, doesn't result in permanent death. So after this plot twist, Adria leaves so you have someone to fight in the next game, and Diablo goes to destroy heaven. Fortunately, Diablo leaves the portal to heaven open so the person who beat 2 demon lords can follow him. Also, the former mayor of New Tristram and a random soldier and his wife die for no reason, but nobody cares about them. Part 6. The analysis. While the overall plot makes more sense than Act 2, it does have a large number of errors regarding the military. This made both sides look like idiots who didn't know how to fight a battle and were fighting over something with no strategic value, rather than an epic battle between humans and demons. The player is never told what strategic value the island Bastion's Keep is located on possesses, or why Azmodan needs to conquer it. Even if you assume that Azmodan could only bring an army this large through Arreat's core, this doesn't explain why he needs to conquer Bastion's Keep or why humanity will be destroyed if he conquers this keep. As Azmodan's army is entirely contained on a small island, unless his non-flying demons can swim or build ships, they have no means of attacking anywhere else. Thus, Azmodan's invasion is no threat to the rest of the sanctuary. If Bastion's Keep is so important because it has the Black Soul Stone, then why not move the Black Soul Stone to somewhere that has better defences and more soldiers, such as the Templars' Order in Westmarch, which has thousands of Templars who would be willing to die fighting against a demon army. The player is also ordered to do a lot of things, such as destroy the Sin Hearts, but is never told why these things are important, so it feels like you're just doing a series of random quests, rather than a series of actions designed to defeat Azmodan. Had the developers put more thought into what effect the player's actions had on the battle, it would have made the game feel more immersive. Despite all the problems regarding why Diablo would trust Adria, the part where Adria betrays you and turns Leia into the primeval was good because it advanced the plot, creates new enemies that the player has to defeat, and creates a link between this act and the next one. Regarding Leia, I wasn't saddened by what happened to her because I didn't care about her. It was difficult to like her because she had no personality, had conflicting motivations, had almost no character growth. Gaining new powers is not character growth, and only helped you in combat a few times. Just being present for most of the game isn't enough to make the player care about a character. Regarding Tyrael, though he's referred to as the commander of Bastion's Keep, he's never actually shown commanding any soldiers, and no one mentions anything Tyrael has done to help fight against the demons. So effectively, Tyrael is still standing around doing nothing, while the player is being told that Tyrael is doing something, which isn't the same as Tyrael actually doing something. Yet again, Blizzard's laziness has resulted in Tyrael not doing anything despite becoming mortal to help humanity. I think the developers wanted Tyrael to be in command of Bastion's Keep, so Act 3 could be a battle of Tyrael versus Azmodan, but as they didn't know what the leader of an army is meant to do, the result was Azmodan ended up trying to Zerg rush everywhere, and Tyrael just stood around doing nothing. Had more research been done, Act 3 might have seemed like an epic battle, rather than a normal act pretending to be an epic battle.